Welcome to Gradient's weekly roundup of key economic and business developments in Sri Lanka for the week ending 16 September 2022. I'm Nishani Piguera, and here are the top stories for this week. Sri Lanka outlines its focus at the UN Human Rights Council. Lazard starts talks with Sri Lanka's creditors. Additional $20 million from USAID to combat hunger and malnutrition. August worker remittances highest for 2022. We will also briefly look at other notable news and wrap up with the capital markets update. In our main story this week, Sri Lanka is at the 51st United Nations Human Rights Council's regular session in Switzerland. The UNHCR, as a part of its focus on Sri Lanka, is conducting interactive dialogues on promoting reconciliation, accountability and human rights in the country. On Monday, the head of the delegation of Sri Lanka, Ali Sabri, Minister of Foreign Affairs, said that Sri Lanka remains firmly committed to pursuing tangible progress in protecting human rights and reconciliation through independent domestic institutions. He added that while the country's immediate concern is economic recovery, advancing human rights is of equal priority. Sabri also mentioned Sri Lanka's rejection of Resolution 46-1, which calls for mechanisms such as hybrid courts by integrating international personnel, and added that it violates the sovereignty of the Sri Lankan people and principles of the UN Charter. Reuters news agency, citing a spokesman for the Sri Lankan government, stated that Lazard, the debt advisory firm appointed by Sri Lanka, has started talks with India, China and Japan on restructuring the country's debt. In May, Lazard, along with international lawyers Clifford Chance, were hired by Sri Lanka to reform and negotiate on its $51 billion external debt. Samantha Powell, administrator of the United States Agency for International Development, was in Sri Lanka on a two-day visit and announced an additional $20 million in assistance to address hunger and malnutrition in the country. USAID has previously committed $40 million to support Sri Lanka's farmers. Further, Powell added that the United States is keen to transform its relationship with Sri Lanka to one based on trade from its aid-based alliance, adding that US resources would be used to unlock the country's potential without strings attached and in the interest of economic independence and stability. According to the SLTDA, tourist arrivals in the first 11 days of September were 10,796. This helped the year-to-date arrivals cross the 500,000 mark. India was the largest source market, followed by the UK and Germany. Meanwhile, Priyantha Fernando, chairman of the SLTDA, speaking to the Daily FT, stated that efforts are being made to have a successful winter season and expressed confidence of 1 million visitors for the full year and $1.5 billion in earnings. In other news, workers' remittances in August rose to an 8-month high of $325 million. However, year-to-date inflows were 48% lower from a year ago. Confirming accelerated migration, the Sri Lanka Bureau of Foreign Employment said that over 208,000 individuals had left for overseas employment in 2022, while the Immigration and Immigration Department had issued 705,000 passports by August, higher than the almost 172,000 for the same period last year. And now let's take a look at the weekly movement of the All Share Price Index and the S&P SL20 Index at the Colombo Stock Exchange. At the Treasury bill auction held on Wednesday, yields on all term maturities contracted. Of the 182 billion rupees worth bids, 80 billion rupees were accepted. And here's how the rupee performed against the dollar this week. In other market news, the Board of Investment of Sri Lanka entered into a $35 million agreement with JJ Mills Lanka Limited. The company will construct a textile mill at the dedicated textile manufacturing zone in Eravur, Batticaloa. And that's a wrap for this week. Subscribe to our YouTube channel at the link below for more updates on economic and business developments in Sri Lanka. Until we see you again next week, thank you for watching. Stay safe.